When I suffered from morning sickness and bladder issues, Ethan was at a party, playing a suggestive game of tying cherry stems with his assistant. Even when I vomited until my stomach bled, he still held his assistant close, unwilling to let go, inseparable. On the way home, we were in a car accident. As soon as I was lifted onto a stretcher, Ethan coldly dragged me off. "You're thick-skinned, resilient, don't waste medical resources." With that, he gently picked up his assistant, who was crying from fright, and placed her on the stretcher. Upon arriving at St. Jude's Hospital, everyone rushed to the emergency room, protecting his assistant. Only I walked calmly to the women's health front desk. "Hello, please arrange an abortion procedure for me. I don't want the baby inside me anymore." The next second after I changed into a surgical gown, Ethan stormed in. He threw a red string at my face. "Grace, who gave you permission to give me this bad luck charm?" Ethan didn't believe in superstitions. Even a lucky charm it prayed for with arduous devotion was scoffed at by him and thrown into the fire. I picked up the symbolic couple's bracelet from my body and said calmly, "It wasn't from me." Hearing this, he immediately snatched the red string back and eagerly put it on his wrist. I knew the red string was from Chloe. She hoped for a lifetime together as a devoted couple with Ethan. Thinking of this, I took his hand. Under his disdainful, guarded gaze, I firmly tightened the loose knot for him. My overly icy fingertips made Ethan momentarily dazed. He asked why I was wearing a hospital gown. I replied nonchalantly, "I'm having a small surgery later." Ethan frowned deeply, about to scold me for faking illness. When he saw the nurse come in to draw my blood, he opened his mouth, about to ask the nurse what was wrong with me, when his phone suddenly rang. It was a video call from Chloe. The young girl's delicate whine complained about how scary the hospital was at night. Hearing her, Ethan didn't even glance at me, but strode quickly away. He bumped the nurse, causing the needle to go crooked and blood to spill. He didn't look back at my pained gasp. At that moment, the doctor came in with the surgical consent form. Ignoring all the risks, I signed my name without hesitation. Half an hour later, the surgery was successful. As soon as I was off the operating table, I received a message from Ethan. "Wait for me at the hospital entrance outside." A heavy snowfall began, and I, thinly dressed, sat on a plastic bench, waiting for 2 full hours. He never appeared. 2 nurses walked past me, chatting and laughing about what they'd seen in the air. After all these years, I've never seen a man dote on his wife like that, right? He held her and comforted her through the whole examination, and when she just had a red mark on her leg, he immediately arranged for a helicopter transfer to a top-tier hospital. Hearing this, I opened my chat window and saw that Ethan had changed his profile picture. A cartoon fox with sunglasses Nick. A perfect match with Chloe's bunny cop Judy. I exited WhatsApp and opened the flight booking app. Due to the weather, the earliest flight back home was 2 days away. I placed the order, paid, and confirmed the tickets. I walked out of St. Jude's Hospital and went home alone at 3 in the morning. Ethan, returning late, pushed open the bedroom door and lay down next to me. In the darkness, he reached out to caress my pregnant belly, but I turned over, giving him my back. Ethan clicked his tongue impatiently, got up, walked into the bathroom, and slammed the door shut with a bang. We had been together for 9 years. Whenever he showed the slightest displeasure, I would become anxious, chasing after him to humble myself and seek reconciliation. Yet tonight, after his shower, he found me still lying motionless in bed, pretending. He muttered, then left the master bedroom coldly and didn't return. The next morning, I saw a wine glass with a lipstick stain on the coffee table in the living room. I didn't wake Ethan up as I used to, nor did I hysterically question him about anything. After leisurely frying an omelet, I had just settled at the dining table when Ethan, waking up, said, "Don't wait for me for dinner tonight. I have a company dinner." He opened the refrigerator, took 2 sips of ice water, then suddenly looked surprised that I hadn't lectured him about cold water hurting his stomach, nor asked who would be at the dinner. Through the kitchen glass, Ethan frowned at me. "Grace, are you listening to me?" I swallowed my food, hummed an affirmation, and continued eating. Seeing my reaction, he threw his black coat to me. "Your birthday present?" The coat, smelling of sweet perfume, perfectly covered my flat abdomen. Under his gaze, I fumbled a gift box out of the coat pocket. I opened the box. Inside was a diamond ring. Before I could speak, Ethan snatched the ring back. His face grim, he said, "You took the wrong one. Yours is on the other side." The other pocket held an emerald brooch. I glanced at it, then pushed it back to him. Then politely I said, "The brooch is beautiful, but I don't have clothes to match it besides. My birthday was 3 months ago. You should just give it to Chloe as well." He was speechless for a while. Ethan reluctantly said, "There's a jewelry auction in a couple of days. You can come with me." This was the first time he had asked me to be his companion for the past 6 months. Chloe had accompanied him to all sorts of gatherings, even on a yacht trip with childhood friends. The two of them appeared arm in arm in the group photo. Recalling this, I felt completely meaningless. "No. Thank you. I don't need anything. Are you sure?" I nodded. "It's best if Chloe accompanies you." My honest opinion was met with his face instantly darkening. Great. I returned to the master bedroom and started packing my luggage. In the evening, Ethan called, asking me to arrange for a messenger to deliver some documents for him. A blizzard was raging outside, but I wrapped myself in a fur coat and went out personally. Pushing open the restaurant door, I saw Ethan and Chloe linking arms for a toast. Due to my sudden appearance, the playful teasing in the restaurant abruptly stopped. Ethan gave me a sideways glance, his face annoyed, the other's eyes filled with amusement, waiting for me to scream and throw a fit. But to everyone's surprise, I wasn't angry. I handed him the documents and simply said, "Could you lend me your car keys? I left something in your car." Hearing this, Chloe took the Porsche keys from her bag, stuck out her tongue at me, and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sister-in-law. I love to sleep in, so I'm always late for work." So just gave me his car to drive. What sister-in-law? Silly girl, don't just call anyone that. Ethan's eyes filled with indulgence as he wiped the wine stains from Chloe's lips. Following his lead, I said, "Mr. Taylor and I are not married, Ms. Johnson. Please don't misunderstand." With that, I took the keys and turned to leave, but Ethan abruptly pulled me back, his face looking strange. "Grace, after you got pregnant, the smell of alcohol made you sick. How come today?" Just as I was about to respond, Chloe's face paled as she clutched Ethan's arm. "Ethan, Grace, she's not looking for that pearl necklace in the car, is she?" "Oh, but silly me, already lost the necklace. What should I do?" The necklace Chloe mentioned was a keepsake from my grandmother. I heard Ethan gently reassure Chloe, "It's just an inexpensive necklace. Don't worry about it." I put down the car keys and looked at Chloe calmly. "He's right. It's just an inexpensive necklace I've worn for 9 years. Since you like it, consider it a gift from me." As I walked out of the restaurant, I was about to call a cab when Ethan chased after me. He handed me a takeout container of nourishing fish porridge, saying in a condescending tone, "I'll go with you for your prenatal checkup tomorrow." I casually lied. "You've got the date wrong. The checkup isn't until the day after tomorrow." Ethan was about to argue, but then he saw Chloe standing at the restaurant entrance. He immediately turned back, took her hand, and warmed her breath with his. After watching them return to the restaurant, I, who never eats fish, fed the fish porridge to a stray cat, then went home. That night, he didn't come home all night, and I didn't call him even once. At 5 in the afternoon, I had just put on my coat when Ethan, who had suddenly come home, pulled me into his car. Inside the Taylor family estate, Ethan led me to his parents, Mom and Dad. "This is Grace." After years of dating, Ethan finally brought me to meet the parents, but my reaction greatly disappointed him. "Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, I have an urgent matter. Please excuse me." No sooner had I spoken than Ethan gripped my wrist, subtly tightening his hold. "Mom and Dad, she's just joking. You prepare dinner, and I'll take her to get acquainted with the place first." He forcibly dragged me to the master bedroom on the top floor for a so-called tour. My habit of constantly checking my phone soon drew his displeasure. "Grace, you used to always beg to see the room I grew up in. How come now that you've seen it, you're speechless?" It's nice." My evasive answer made Ethan frown deeply. "You've been looking at your phone. Is there something interesting on it?" "No." Even though I said that, his face remained tightened. He snatched my phone and held it up to his face. The screen, however, kept displaying "unlock failed." Ethan asked me in surprise why it couldn't recognize him. Just as I was about to speak, a distinct sound came from outside the window behind me. The tall Ethan saw something, dropped me without a word, and disappeared. 10 minutes later, following a series of tinkling laughter, I found Madison, wearing flowers in her hair, in the old estate's garden. Ethan was carefully supporting her as they played a childish game of tiptoeing across a log bridge. "Ethan, please hold me tight. Ah, brother, help." As they played, Madison slipped, her face flushed as she stumbled into his chest. They paused for a moment, then exchanged a knowing smile. The smile in Ethan's eyes vanished completely when he saw me. "Oh, Grace, why are you here?" Madison looked at me innocently. After blinking a few times, she started softly pounding his chest with her fists. "Oh, I know. The bad brother finally decided to bring his old lady home to meet the parents. Congratulations, Grace." Though she offered congratulations, her voice was tinged with a sob, causing Ethan to press his lips together in sympathy. "It's just dinner. There's nothing to congratulate." "You silly goose." After comforting Madison, his gaze toward me was incredibly cold. "Is dinner ready?" Before I could reply, several long snakes suddenly dropped from the tree line above, startling me, and I fell to the ground in fright, while Madison let out a piercing scream. Seeing this, Ethan didn't even glance at me. He hugged Madison tightly and quickly fled. It wasn't until forest rangers came to catch the snakes that he remembered me. He returned to the tree, searched everywhere, and was finally informed by the gate guard that I had already left. In the late-night airport lounge, my phone kept vibrating as I waited to board. I didn't answer the call until the last minute before takeoff. As soon as the call connected, Ethan urgently questioned where I was. He had clearly gone home and found it empty. I didn't answer him directly, only saying, "It's none of your business." He paused, a hint of annoyance in his voice. "A pregnant woman acting out isn't good for the baby. Don't be so willful. Give me your address. I'll come pick you up right now." Before he could finish, from his end of the call, I heard the sticky sound of a kiss on his cheek, and Chloe's soft laugh. Ethan cleared his throat. He abruptly changed his tone, saying coldly, "Something came up at the office. Take a cab home yourself?" Then, not entirely reassured, he added, "Text me when you get home." After he hung up, I opened my chat window and, as he wished, sent him a message. "Ethan, we're breaking up. I sincerely wish you and Chloe happiness and a long, blissful life together." The message showed as read, and at the same time, I blocked all his contacts and turned off my phone. "Aunt, over here. Over here." As soon as I got off the plane, I saw Mia's little hands waving enthusiastically in the crowd. I smiled warmly and picked up my niece, then said to Sarah, "It's the middle of the night. I told you didn't need to pick me up. Do you think I wanted to come?" "It's just your precious niece kept nagging to see her silly auntie." Sarah hugged me, subtly glanced at my flat abdomen, her eyes full of heartache. Just as I was about to offer comfort, she pinched my cheek, scolding me for being as thin as a rail. "Starting tomorrow, you're having a hearty bone broth every day. You don't like it? Tough. No arguments. All right, whatever you say. You're my only sister, after all." I sniffed my aching nose, holding Mia, and got into Sarah's car. The three of us chattered and laughed all the way home. Even though it was 4 in the morning, Mom and Dad were still waiting in the living room. After confirming that Sarah and I had arrived home safely and that I was drinking my childhood favorite iced tea, they happily went to bed. After washing up, I lay in bed, and within minutes I, who usually suffered from insomnia, fell into a deep sleep quickly. No pain, no more wondering, because I was finally back to my real home. On the third day after I arrived home, my parents booked a private dining room and informed all our relatives, holding a welcome dinner for me. While my welcome dinner was in full swing, filled with laughter and joy, a delivery person arrived at the door, calling out my name. Mia, who often picked up takeout for Mom, skipped over, hugged the package, and bounced back to me. "Already able to read," she said in a childish voice. "Aunt, this is from a Mr. Taylor." After a long moment of thought, I finally opened the box. Inside was a new phone. Just as I was completely at a loss, this phone suddenly rang. Facing the concerned glances from my family, I instinctively picked up the phone and found a quiet corner. I hesitated for a while before answering. Ethan's voice was as cold as ever. "Grace, why didn't you say anything about coming back to my parents' home?" I retorted. "Why should I tell you?" After a moment of silence, he deliberately softened his tone and said, "I tried several numbers to reach you, but your phone was always off, so I was worried about you." I, who always screened unknown calls, blinked. "Just for that, you resorted to illegal means to find me, and even sent a cheap phone in front of my family." I couldn't help but ask him, "Ethan, are you out of your mind?" In all our years together, he had never been criticized or insulted by me. Even over the phone, I could imagine the terrible expression on his face. But even so, he didn't hang up. "Grace, you know my personality. My patience is limited. You should know when to quit." Cutting off his rambling, I impatiently asked him what he wanted to say. Taking a deep breath, Ethan said in a deep voice. For the sake of the child, I won't argue about this runaway incident. I've already bought your flight back home for next week. Chloe and I will pick you up from the airport then. Hearing this, I almost burst out laughing. What child? The baby I was carrying is long gone. From Zen, I heard the sound of something shattering to the ground. Grace, how dare you joke about our child like that? I lowered my gaze, a bitter smile on my lips. I'm not joking with you. The child is indeed gone. Also, I truly want to break up with you. Before I could finish, he scoffed with a cold laugh. What do you mean the child is gone? What truly want to break up? You just want to force me to admit I'm wrong, don't you? Fine, I was wrong. I was wrong to make you take a cab home yourself just because something came up at the office. Ms. Smith, I apologize. Are you satisfied now? Faced with his sarcasm, I felt nothing but boredom. I don't need your apology. You just need to understand one thing. We've already broken up. With that, I hung up the phone, removed the SIM card, and threw the phone and SIM card into the trash. It was already 11 at night when the welcome dinner finished. My high school best friend, whom I hadn't seen in years, messaged me, inviting me for a late-night drink. So I immediately went home, changed into a very fitted dress, and gladly went to the appointment. At 1:30 in the morning, at the Note Club, the second before I raised my third martini, ready to clink glasses with my best friend again, someone, filled with rage, snatched my drink violently from behind. I instinctively turned my head and saw Ethan's incredibly sullen face. Before I had a chance to ask him why he was there, he grabbed my arm and forcibly pulled me from my seat without explanation. Who gave you permission to drink? You're a woman about to give birth. How dare you? His accusing words abruptly stopped halfway. He stared blankly at my abdomen for a long time. Ethan's gaze finally moved upward, looking deeply into my eyes. Grace, where's the baby? Seeing that I remained silent, Ethan clenched his fists. Trembling uncontrollably, his eyes bloodshot, he asked again, not giving up hope. I'm asking you. Where's our baby? I looked at him with calm eyes. Gone. Those two simple words, like 1,000-year-old ice, instantly froze him to the core, deathly pale. He stumbled back several steps, muttering to himself, impossible. How could this be possible? Watching's bewildered and crestfallen expression, I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Men are natural actors. 8 months ago, when I unexpectedly found out I was pregnant, I immediately showed Ethan the pregnancy test. My honest and anxious news was met with his long silence and those unforgettable words of doubt that I would never forget in my life. Grace, are you sure the baby is mine? Inside Blue Jazz, seeing me pull my best friend, preparing to leave, Ethan strode forward and gripped my wrist tightly, refusing to let me go. His eyes were terrifyingly red. Grace, I need the truth about the baby, otherwise, I'll never let you go. 5 minutes later, inside a black sedan in a corner of the underground parking garage, he leaned forward to fasten my seatbelt, but I impatiently rejected him. If you want to know something, just ask here. No need to move and waste my time. He paused, a clear look of hurt flashed in his eyes. He withdrew his presumptuous hand and asked me icily, how was the baby lost? I retorted with a half smile. What do you think? He thought for a moment, then looked at me with regret. That day when you encountered snakes at the old estate, if you had just waited obediently for me to take you to St. Jude's Hospital, our baby might have been saved. Grace, you're truly too willful. Hearing this, I was even more certain that my decision to have an abortion was absolutely correct. Ethan, you're mistaken. The baby wasn't lost at the old estate. I looked at him expressionlessly, saying blandly, I asked the doctor to perform the abortion. You were present before the surgery. Ethan frowned deeply, then laughed in anger. Grace, do you think it'd be stupid enough to believe such an absurd lie and break up with you as you wished? Too tired to speak further, I simply opened my phone, pulled up the electronic medical records and payment receipts from the surgery at St. Jude's Hospital, and clearly placed them before him. As he saw the content on my phone, Ethan's face visibly turned from green to white, then to a ghastly pale. He asked me, why did you do this? I said blandly, I'm tired of it. Hearing this, he gave a bitter smile, uglier than crying. We've been together for 9 whole years. We finally had a child, and we were planning to get married next year. Grace, you're telling me you're tired of it now? Do you even know what you're saying? Half a month ago, I had asked Ethan the same question. It was a stormy night with thunder and lightning. Ethan had accidentally stained his suit shirt at a dinner party and called, ordering me to bring him a new set immediately. When I arrived at the hotel room door, pregnant and looking a mess, I overheard him and Chloe laughing and playing from inside the bathroom. Chloe first giggled, complaining that Ethan had gone too far, getting her all wet. Then she giggled, saying that if I saw them playing like this, I might be heartbroken enough to miscarry on the spot, losing both mother and child, and that wouldn't be good. Ethan scoffed indifferently, two annoying burdens, one big and one small. If they really did die, it would be less trouble. Recalling this, I looked at him with an expression of utter exasperation. Are you incapable of understanding, Ethan? What I mean is, I'm truly fed up with you. Eating the same spoiled dish for 9 years would make anyone sick. You're lying. Ethan slammed the steering wheel, his chest heaving as he sneered at me. Everyone knows I'm the only man you've ever dated. You personally told me your biggest dream was to marry me. I tilted my head slightly. You also said once. Hearing this, Ethan's face was ashen, and he gritted his teeth, speechless. His speechlessness wasn't due to anything I had said. It was because my tone of voice with him was truly nonchalant and uncaring. A strong sense of unease and trepidation quietly coiled around his heart like a venomous snake, trying to ignore the panic within him. He narrowed his deep eyes and said to me, Grace, considering how many years you've been with me, if you come back with me obediently now, I can forgive the mistakes you've made and proceed with our wedding plans. After all, we're still young, and we can have more children. I looked at him blankly. What wedding plans? Ethan pressed his thin lips together. Stop pretending. Grace, you've been constantly causing trouble for Chloe behind my back, and going to all this trouble to stir things up. Ultimately, aren't you just trying to force me to marry you sooner? He made me laugh. You're truly mistaken, Mr. Taylor. I can't marry you, because I stopped loving you a long time ago. What did you say? It seems you're a bit hard of hearing. I told him word for word, with the last shred of my patience. Ethan, I said, I don't love you anymore, please. Let's end this. Don't drag it out. From now on, you go your own way, and I'll go mine. Let's break up amicably. He watched, wide-eyed, as I opened the passenger door and stepped out without a backward glance. An uncontrollable urgency finally appeared in Ethan's eyes. He rushed out of the car after me, saying, Grace, next Monday is our 10th anniversary. I looked back at him calmly. So what? You once swore under the shooting stars that no matter how the world changes, even if the seas turn into mulberry fields, you would be by my side every anniversary, he said, and his usually steady, cold voice began to tremble uncontrollably. Grace, you hated people who broke their promises. I clicked my tongue impatiently, my brow furrowed with coldness. Meaningless vows made on a whim hundreds of years ago. Only a fool would take those seriously. Hearing me say that, Ethan stood dumbfounded for a good 10 seconds before he found his voice. Grace, remember what you said today. When you regret this, even if you beg on your knees, I won't come back. With that, he started the car and drove away. After getting rid of him, I, filled with joy, immediately returned to my best friend's side and continued listening to music and chatting all night. One evening, half a month later, I ran into an unexpected person at the local supermarket near my home. Daniel? I called out with hesitation, and the tall, handsome man had already reached out his left hand, just as he had countless times in the past, and ruffled my hair. Grace, long time no see. Even after years, Daniel's gaze towards me was as warm and deep as ever. We had known each other since childhood. As the boy next door, he had always treated me like a sister, always indulged me, and cleaned up countless messes for me. I couldn't help but lightly punch his shoulder, my eyes red as I asked, Didn't you settle abroad? Why didn't you say you were coming back? I could have driven to pick you up. Daniel smiled faintly, pressing his lips together. My parents don't know I'm back yet. Oh? Then why would you? Your sister told me you've decided to stay with our parents and won't leave. He paused for a few seconds, then looked into my eyes and added, So, I came back too. Having said what needed to be said, he ignored my silence, casually took the shopping cart from my hand. He calmly finished shopping with me, then, carrying the shopping bag, we walked slowly back to the apartment complex under the setting sun. As we were about to go upstairs to our respective homes, he asked me to wait for a moment. In less than 2 minutes, Daniel quickly returned to my side. Grace, your favorite strong coffee. Seeing the childhood treat I hadn't had in a long time, I paused. Then my eyes curved in a smile, and I was about to take it, but the next second, someone forcefully grabbed my wrist and pulled me hard into a familiar embrace. Ethan, why are you here? My whole body stiffened, utterly surprised by his sudden appearance. However, Ethan didn't answer my question. He just forcibly pulled me, intending to shove me into his car. In desperation, I struggled desperately and instinctively cried out, Daniel. Daniel reacted quickly, dropping everything he was carrying, and swiftly stepped forward to grip my other arm. Seeing this, Ethan's eyes fixed on Daniel's hand on me with a sinister gaze I had never seen before, and he gritted his teeth. Oh, Daniel, Grace, it hasn't even been a month since we broke up, and you're already cheating on me, are you? Hearing this, my eyes widened in shock, and I stared at him with exasperation. Are you out of your mind, Ethan? What are you talking about cheating? Do I have anything to do with you? Seeing that I kept struggling to escape him, Ethan's face grew darker, like a stormy sea. Grace, I came here today to formally propose to you. So stop throwing your tantrums. If this endless Cold War continues, the one who truly gets hurt in the end will only be you. As he spoke, Ethan held me tightly with one hand and reached into his suit pant pocket with the other. Soon, he pulled out a heart-shaped box and, with a fervent look in his eyes, opened it dramatically in front of me. But it was empty. The second before I was about to yell at him for being crazy, Chloe emerged from the back of the sedan. She reluctantly took off the massive diamond ring on her ring finger, casually dropped it into the heart-shaped box, and then said to me with an innocent expression, Grace, I heard you had the abortion yourself. Oh, you poor silly thing, my dear sister. Ethan and I are just soulmates in spirit. You are the woman he truly loves. You must never again be so foolish as to let my presence affect your relationship with him. Soulmates in spirit, I thought. After staring at Ethan for a long moment, I said in a flat tone, Give me the ring. Hearing me say that, an overjoyed Ethan immediately let go of my hand. He took out the ring, and the next second he eagerly tried to put it on my ring finger. I snatched it off. Then I went straight to Chloe, and with lightning speed, grabbed her by the neck and shoved the ring into her mouth. A mouth that always spouted venomous words. No one expected my usually quiet self to be so violent and ruthless when truly angry. Even I, for a moment, wondered if I genuinely wanted to kill Chloe. The overly thin Chloe's eyeballs almost popped out of her wide eyes, but she couldn't pull my hand, clamped over her mouth. Away. Cough, cough, help, help. It stuck? My throat. The terrifying choking sensation from the sharp object quickly left Chloe's face streaming with tears and snot. To help her escape danger sooner, I, in my kindness, lashed out with both hands, slapping her face loudly more than 10 times, leaving her face swollen and disoriented. Then, her stomach bruised purple from the hard kick, Chloe fell to the ground, sweating profusely from the pain, her hair disheveled, and retched several times before spitting out the diamond ring along with her undigested lunch. Grace, you crazy woman. I'm calling the police to report you for assault. Chloe glared at me fiercely, then turned, tears welling in her eyes, and tried to throw herself into Ethan's arms, whimpering and begging him to call the police for her. But to her utter shock, Ethan not only frowned and pushed her back to the ground, he even complained coldly that she had soiled the engagement ring he had carefully chosen. Chloe was completely stunned. Her ears, nearly deafened by my slap, heard the man humbly and ingratiatingly say to me, Grace, I know you're a germaphobe. This ring has been tainted by an unimportant outsider, so you definitely won't want it anymore. It's okay. It'll take you to buy a new wedding ring right now. Ethan mumbled to himself as he reached out to me again, but this time, Daniel was a step faster. Shielding me behind him, with an indifferent gaze, he said, Grace is through with you. Please don't cling to her like a leech and make things difficult for her. Ignoring his presence, Ethan stared at me unblinkingly. Grace, please, come here. If you just come to me, I'll promise you anything. Haven't you always wanted to get married? We can go to the courthouse tomorrow and get our marriage certificate. With a face full of disgust, I took a half step back. Ethan, I'm telling you for the last time. We've already broken up. Not only will I never marry you in this life, but in the next life, and the one after that, we will never be together. Before I even finished speaking, Ethan strode aggressively towards me, his eyes bloodshot. He grabbed Daniel by the collar and furiously raised his fist. It has to be you, you treacherous animal. You've been instigating and inciting her to break up with me. Daniel had a black belt in Taekwondo. If it weren't to ensure my absolute safety standing behind him, he would have seriously beaten Ethan half to death. Seeing the two men struggling, attracting an increasing number of onlookers and feeling utterly disgusted. I couldn't stand it anymore and stepped between them, and with all my might, slapped Ethan hard across the face. I asked him coldly, "Are you done making a scene? If you are, then get out." The man, his head knocked to the side by my slap, froze instantly, utterly stunned. After an unknown amount of time, he finally found his voice. His lips trembled as he asked me, "Why did you hit me? Grace, can you please tell me, what exactly did I do wrong? Why are you being so cruel to me?" He truly couldn't understand. A woman who swore she'd always stay by his side as long as he didn't bring up breaking up. A woman who coyly said she wanted to have many children for him and be buried in the same plot after death. How could she suddenly decide she didn't want him anymore? Just like that? Facing the man's hoarse, desperate questions, I simply said, "Ethan, we're not meant to be, it's that simple." He watched Daniel take my hand, and I, with no resistance, calmly allowed him to lead me away. Ethan felt as if his entire heart had been crushed and torn into a bloody mess by an invisible hand. His eyes burned, and tears fell uncontrollably. "Grace." Ethan called out to me with a heart-wrenching cry. When I turned back, the man who was always cold and proud, for the first time, fell to his knees, crawling to my feet and begging me with utmost humility, "Don't go. I beg you, don't go. You don't know what I've been through for the past 2 weeks. Grace, I'm truly being driven crazy by the house, filled with memories of our love. No matter what I see, I think of you. Grace, I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have failed to appreciate your kindness again and again. I shouldn't have allowed other women to invade our home, bully and insult you. I completely understand that all this pain today is entirely deserved. I brought it upon myself. I only ask that you give me one last chance to start over. I swear on my life, I will change. That's enough." I looked down expressionlessly at the man who seemed like dust beneath my feet. "Ethan, life isn't a movie. No one gets a second chance." Ignoring his figure, suddenly limp and despairing, Daniel and I went home together. That evening, Daniel ate and chatted at my place, staying until nearly dawn before reluctantly returning to his own place next door. A month later, late on a weekend night, I unexpectedly received a call from an unknown number. "Hello. This is St. Jude's Hospital Emergency Room. We're calling about your husband, Mr. Ethan." Hearing this, I immediately interrupted. "You have the wrong number. I'm single. I don't have a husband." As if sensing I was about to hang up, the person on the other end quickly said, "Well, Mum, your number is the only emergency contact on the patient's phone, so we could only contact you. The situation is that the patient overdosed on sleeping pills and is currently undergoing stomach pumping at our hospital. His condition is critical and requires someone to come over. I'm sorry, I'm busy. I don't have time to waste on strangers. Goodbye." Shortly after abruptly ending the call, I received a text message. It was from Daniel. "Hungry? Come up for a barbecue." 5 minutes later, I went up to the rooftop, surprised that besides the good food, Daniel had also prepared dazzling fairy lights and sparklers, which I hadn't played with in ages. We played and laughed, ate our fill, before heading downstairs. Daniel looked at the sky and said to me, "The moon looks so full tonight." I lowered my gaze and chuckled softly, agreeing with him gently. "Yes, it's beautiful, no matter how the seasons change, or how time flies. The waxing and waning moon always hangs in the sky. Just like people who are destined to be together will always find their way back to each other, no matter how much they wander." That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is my channel. The tales I share drawn from life or woven from imagination are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to my channel. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.